Hi, I'm Marius from Imways Photography, and in this video we are going to have a look at the brand new Fujifilm EF-X500 speedlight. Now, Fujifilm South Africa has given me a pre-production X-T2 as well as the X500 flash to play around with. Now, I mostly spent my time on the X-T2. I've already shot my review video for that, and I only had them both for a few days, so I didn't really have time to put the X500 through its paces. So it's going to make this review a little bit shorter than normal. Okay, now I'm going to mostly show you what the menu system and the buttons and everything looks like, because that for me, I want a flash that functions well. If I think back at the EF-42 speedlight I bought when I got my first two X-T1s, that flash is terrible. It's not really a Fujifilm flash, I just rebranded it. It was a Sunpack flash, but they just wanted a flash, so they added it in there, but it's a terrible flash. It's slow, it's plastic. The buttons, I think, is terrible. Just trying to do exposure compensation is painful. So I ended up not using the EF-42 speedlight. I was always relying on my Nikon SP800 and SP910 speedlights, and then I was using them off camera with my Cactus V6 transceivers, or my Cactus version 4s. I was also using them, and that's just how I used flash on my X-T1. So now hopefully the X500 will be able to fill the gap and give me a solid on-camera flash with TTL and basic performance. That's all I want from the flash. Okay, so before I show you what the flash looks like, because I want to show you all the buttons and the screen and everything, a few things I just want to mention. The flash has got a guide number of 50, so it's a powerful flash. The recycle time, I've got Duracell recyclable battery, rechargeable. That sounded totally wrong. Okay, I want to talk about recycle times. That came out wrong. Okay, I've got Duracell rechargeables in here, and my recycle time was around about between 2.5 and 3 seconds. So it's not bad. It's nice and fast. And then it has a wireless feature. So the same as with Nikon's CLS, the creative lighting system, you can have multiple X500s, and then you can control them all. So you've got a master function on, you've got channels or groups, and you can say, right, those X500s must be at quarter power, these must be at half power, and you can control all the flashes. So that's really nice. I'm not going to really look at it in this video because I've only got this one, so I don't really have an option to play around with that. And then there's another thing I forgot to mention. There's something else in here that I should talk about. Yes, it's got high-speed sync. So something that was really frustrating with the EF-42, no high-speed sync, or even if I'm shooting with off-camera flashes, I always had to use ND filters on the lens to be able to actually shoot wide open aperture with my speedlights because of the sync speed. Okay, so it also supports high-speed sync. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the menus so we can see what the flash looks like. Okay, when we look at the flash, you can see at the bottom I've got the test button right here that allows me to test the flash. Next to that, I've got the setup button, which has got a really nice menu, and if you turn the dial you can see all the options that you can change. So this is really easy to get to. I do enjoy the setup option here. If you press it again, it goes out of setup. If you jump over the wheel, you've got your on off as well as your remote. So if you have multiple X500s, you can have one of them set to master, and this is what the remote screen looks like. And then if you jump over to the master option, this is where you will set up all the other flashes which are now being set to remote. So this is then your master. Okay, now like I said, I don't have any of these flashes. I only have this one, so going in this menu doesn't really help us at all. So maybe if I've got more of them for a future video, who knows, then I'll go into proper detail with that. Then at the bottom, you can see there's options like flash, mode, and plus minus. And then below that, you've got buttons. Now that's very similar to your Nikon speedlight, so and I'm used to working like that, so I really enjoy that they've got a similar look and feel to that. Okay, so at the bottom you can see you've got a mode here. Now if you press the mode and you turn this dial, you can go from TTL to manual to multi. Now let's say I go over to TTL and I press the button here that corresponds to the plus minus. Then I've got exposure compensation. Here I'm going all the way to -5, and that way I'm going all the way to +5. Now I really enjoy this because that very terrible EF-42 speedlight, the exposure compensation I think was like a stop and a half or something like that. It was really terrible, and just to get to the settings was a pain. So this makes it really easy. I do enjoy the exposure compensation on here. Okay, so if you go to mode here and you turn a dial and you go to manual, Then if you press the plus minus, you can see there's full power. So if I press it, I've got a full power flash, and you can see it recycles very quickly. And then if I turn it this way, which is really interesting, I've got a flash power of 512 of its full power. So you can see that it's a very, very light burst, or very small burst of light. So I'm used to having only 256 of its power, so having 512 is really nice, because sometimes you're working with such extreme shallow depth of field and you want the flash to almost barely fire. So I do enjoy the 512 of its full power. Okay, now if I press this button here at flash, it jumps over to the next screen, which allows me to control the zoom as well as the angle of the beam there. And if I press it again, it's got an LED light option. Now this I really enjoy. So if I turn this on, you can see there's an LED light, or hopefully you can see my light, the light here on my hand. And if I press this little light bulb icon, it allows me to control the power of that light. So hopefully you can see my hand there, and you can see me controlling the light there on my hand. Okay, now for having this for shooting maybe a portrait or something in ambient light, I haven't tested it. I can see this working or using it for video, but there's one problem here that I see, and they also want you to use the LED light as an autofocus light. So there's an autofocus button. If you choose that, you've got autofocus as well as having a catch light in someone's eye. Now my problem with using this as for the light to basically, as you can see the light shining here, it's not as strong, and it can shine super far. So if you're trying to do your autofocus, in my opinion, in a very dark room of object that's very far away, this light will not be sufficient. So I would really have enjoyed a proper autofocus assist beam like I've got on all my speed lights. You've usually got this bright, nice red autofocus assist beam on your speed light. So that for me is a little bit lacking. I think they should have added that in there. That's just my opinion. So, but that's basically it for the menu. It's simple, it's easy to get to everything, it's quick to do all the settings. So yeah, well done with this flash. Okay, so that was the menu system. Now before I end this video off, a few things I want to mention. Now when I picked up the flash, something that's really important is I want something solid. It mustn't be plasticky like that terrible EF-42. I don't think I'll ever stop complaining about the EF-42. Okay, so the flash feels nice and solid, and you can see it's got the same texture on the flash that's also here on the battery grip and on the body itself. So it looks really nice. It's got a nice feel to it. And when I open the battery door, you can feel it's really solid. If you first try and open it up, you feel you really need to add force in here. Okay, I must just turn the flash off. Okay, to open it up, you can feel it's a really solid door. So I love the construction of the flash. I love the detail on the screen. It's a real solid flash. So well done Fuji with this. Like I said, I haven't really put it through its paces yet, but so far what I can see, it looks really good. And I'm hoping they will also release more budget models of this flash. Like for instance, with your Nikon, you can have a 600, or not 600, well, the SP600, SP700 flash, but you can also have an SP900, or not, okay, 900 was a terrible flash, SP910. So you can have a more professional flash and also a budget flash, because if you want to use the basically wireless feature on here, purchasing a ton of these will really set you back. So I'm hoping they are thinking at releasing a more budget one that obviously doesn't have the master in there, but only has the basic slave feature on there, so you can trigger them. That'll be a really cool feature. Okay, so that's all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, you know what to do. Click that subscribe button and get my videos as I release them. And that's all for today. And I want to thank Fuji and also Camera World for basically giving me this to play around with. I enjoyed it. And until I see you guys next time, bye.